Welcome to my show. A guest here. His name is Kevin Long. Mr. Kevin, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kevin. Firstly, you are the founder and the CEO of Social Imposter. Can you please, sir, discuss more about yourself and how you are doing currently now, sir?
Sure. As you correctly stated, I am the founder and CEO of Social Imposter, and it's a firm that I started in 2012 to help combat fraudulent accounts on social media, and specifically imposter accounts that were created and intended to impersonate high-profile celebrities, athletes, actors, etc. And we have gone through several evolutions of our technology, but we find and submit and remove fake social media accounts that are in our clients' names. And I also happen to serve on a board of a company called Blockticity, which combats fraud within the transportation of goods from point A to point B. So um, supply chain fraud. It creates certificates of origin, certificates of authenticity, and mints them on the blockchain, and then turns them allows the both the consumer and the producer to be able to see if there's been any sort of fraudulent activity occurred during the shipment process from the seller to the buyer. And it's a really cool new technology that's focused on Web3 technology and the ability to use the blockchain to do the tracing and capturing of those movements for those items that are within the supply chain. So I'm on the advisory board for them.
Mm, that's very, very, very impactful. Thank you so much, sir. There are a lot of things that are going on in the social media today. A lot. And do you also have any book you've written in angle of this aspect, sir?
No, I am a good writer, but I'm not. I haven't taken the time to sit down and write a book. It would be I think I'd have to be a little more focused on what I wanted the topic to be because there's a lot of stuff I'd like to say.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Mr. Kelvin. The listeners could be wondering, social media imposter. They will know you spoke about a lot of fraudulent accounts, which you are battling. But can you please also define what a social media imposter is and how do you think they are prevalent today, sir?
Yeah, so social media imposters, the definition that at least we use for them are accounts that are set up using someone else's name, usually a high profile person, set up using their name, photo, banner photo, and even in some cases, they will steal the content from the post of the legitimate person that they're impersonating. So you pick some celebrity and you create an account on a network that pretends to be them, and then that account is often used for fraudulent purposes to send direct messages to people and try and ask for money or photos or data that can be used in some other fraudulent activity. And how prevalent are they today? Well, I take down thousands of them a week for my clients, so they're pretty active and they're pretty prevalent out there. And the issues with the folks that are being impersonated are numerous. One, obviously, it's a invasion of their safe space on the social media networks, and it's a distraction for them whenever one of their followers or fans gets duped by one of these imposter accounts, whether they've lost money or they've sent photos, or they think that they're conversing with the person and then they find out that they're not. Their followers get upset that the person's out there, or that imposter has made promises to the person and they think they're really dealing with the person, the celebrity, and it ends up being bad for both the two victims. There are the person that's being fooled as well as the celebrity who's having their good reputation tarnished. So they're out there, they are active, they are continually being um, put back up after we take them down. Not necessarily the same accounts, but they use a lot of different tactics and tricks to create accounts that we were able to find and get removed. So for us, it's kind of like a game of whack-a-mole. Once we get one down, another one pops up somewhere else, and we've got to constantly be on it in order to find those and get rid of them hopefully before they cause any problems for our clients or their fans and followers.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Mr. Kelvin. And this, social media imposter, these people could have, harmed a lot of individuals, even organizations today. How do you think these social media imposter accounts have, from your experience, have harmed individual and organizations, sir?
Yes, so the impact on individuals is a lot of different things can happen in that regard. One, they can be fooled into giving money to a cause or to a fake cause. They believe they're donating to a charity or a specific project that the celebrity may be championing, and they provide money to those people, they donate it, and it's not being donated to the cause. So they're losing money financially. They're being fooled by these accounts. Another way that individuals are harmed is that they will think that they're having a conversation with the real celebrity or the person that the imposter is set up for. And that may be anything from they think they're in love with them. They're making the imposter accounts making promises that, oh, we'll be together forever. They're making promises that, oh, if you just help me pay this legal bill or this, I'm having trouble to pay for the maintenance on my jet. As soon as it gets fixed, I'll fly to see you. So they're really playing a confidence game, a con game, that they're trying to get as much information and as much money out of the individual as possible. So, the person is falling for them. They think they're in love. They think they're dealing with the real celebrity. Kind of common sense goes out the window when people are involved with this and they get fooled by it. So there's a lot of harm that can be done financially and mentally, and just from a perspective of reputations, it can be damaging to the celebrities or the organizations that are being impersonated. Someone sets out an imposter account for an organization. It's damaging from more than just the reputation of the organization. It's also damaging to the cause that they are legitimately supporting, because the money that would have gone to that cause is now being sent to a scammer or fraudulent actor for use in whatever they're going to be doing. Maybe it's continuing other fraudulent activities, or maybe it's just to enrich themselves. So it's a very sad situation that social media has grown to be a really an opportunity for fraudulent actors to connect with and defraud individuals who are using it, where they think that they're in a safe space. It's for fun. It's to keep up with their friends. It's to interact with organizations and causes they support. And the fraudulent actors have figured out ways to infiltrate that and create havoc with the organizations and the folks that are being defrauded. And a lot of times the individuals are so embarrassed when they find out they've been fooled that they don't want to say anything. They don't want to feel like they don't want to let people know that they got scammed out of money. So it's harmful then, because those imposter accounts can continue to act and hurt other people as well. Because they're not just targeting one person. they're out there and they are targeting everybody they can that they feel has a connection to the legitimate celebrity or high profile person or organization. And it's a numbers game. They may send out 10,000 direct messages, and if they're successful at getting money from 10 or 15 of them, well, that's more money than they would have gotten if they didn't do it. So it's an opportunity when you're being when you find out that you've been taken advantage of. It's really probably, as a good citizen, incumbent on you to let the person that is being impersonated know, and to let the network know, and to let the authorities know if it's something significantly criminal, that's what's going on, because that person is definitely the imposter is definitely defrauding other people too. You're not the only one that's the victim on this. There are other people who are falling for the same thing or may fall for the same thing. So if you want to prevent that from happening to other people, you have a somewhat of a responsibility to take accountability for falling for it, and to let people know so that the activity can be stopped.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Mr. Kelvin. And this also brought us to the point of education. We know that, some actions are being taken to bring down this, false account, or trying to probably steal from the individuals. But on the other side, the individuals who they're trying to get something from, if they are educated, if they have this, like this awareness that things like this happens, if you get into someone like this, or if you are chatting with someone or talking to someone this way, this person could be a false person who just want to take something out of you. So I would like to ask Mr. Kelvin, what role do you think education play in recognizing and reporting imposter accounts, sir?
I think that unfortunately for a lot of people, they don't look at social media right now as a place where bad elements hang out, where they could find harm. They need to look at it that way because they're out there and they're doing this every day. But a lot of people look at it as a safe space. This is where I can go to just chill, relax, be with my friends, and in some cases, pretend to be something that they're not. And if they're spending an inordinate amount of time on there, it's probably from a lack of, or it could be from a lack of attention that they want to get elsewhere from people. So they have this persona online that they feel like they need to uphold, and they're some cases they're lonely, some cases they just enjoy talking to people, and this is a way for them to meet people they wouldn't meet otherwise. And so a lot of times common sense just goes out the window. And if you really thought about it, is this celebrity really talking to me? I mean, come on, in what world would they talk to you normally? And if you're falling for it online and you're just absolutely bamboozled and you feel like, yes, I've been conversing with this person, then you may want to try and check with their organization and find out if indeed this person is speaking to you online. That would be one thing to do, that I would caution people to do before they get deeply involved with, someone who's a high profile celebrity through direct messaging or whatever the messaging part of the social media app is. Don't ever give out your phone number. Don't give out your address. Definitely don't give out your credit card or banking information. Those things are all data that those folks are trying to obtain from you, and then they're going to use for their own fraudulent purposes. So, yeah, I think educating people and just heightening the awareness that these types of scams are out there, and please be wary of anybody who is claiming to be a celebrity that is directly contacting you asking for anything, even if at first they're just conversing with you. You feel like they're just trying to get to know you, and everybody wants to feel liked. They want to feel loved. They want to feel like they're important in some way. And when that happens, that those thoughts overcome the common sense that everyone should have that, oh, this really isn't real. I mean, why would he be contacting me? It's more like, oh wow, he contacted me, and now I've got this relationship going with him, and I'm going to be able to see him. I'm going to be able to do this, and it just turns into a fantasy that's not based in any sort of reality or common sense. So you have to figure out a way to let people know that these scams are prevalent and they're occurring, and please don't fall victim to it. And even if you enjoy the banter back and forth with whoever the person is or claims to be, always be skeptical and always be weary of giving out any additional information other than what is already available on those social media accounts, because that's going to protect you in the long run.
Mm. Thank you so much, Mr. Kelvin. And there will definitely be some ways, individuals and organizations can, protect themselves from being impersonated, sir. How do you think individuals and organizations can protect themselves from being impersonated, sir?
Yeah, that's a hard one because I think that the more high profile your organization or the person is, the more likely there are going to be a fair amount of imposter accounts. Um, if you are not a high profile person, the likelihood of you being grabbed and scammed is not great, but it's still there. I think the ways that those organizations and individuals can protect themselves are to definitely set up two-factor authentication on their accounts. So get an authenticator app like Google Authenticator or a similar app that allows for anytime you log in to your account, it allows for you to have to enter a second form of authentication in order to be able to access it. Yeah, it's a little bit of a pain. It's a little bit of a hassle, but in the long run, it's going to keep your account secure, and it's going to keep it from being hacked. And the other, for the organizations, most of those accounts are run by individuals within their organization who have their own personal accounts that are used to access the organization account. So organizations should definitely require that individuals who have the authority to access the main account for the group or the organization, they have to require that those people have two-factor authentication on their own accounts in order to have that access. And that's going to knock down a lot of people that are creating hacked accounts, or at least it's going to protect the accounts from being hacked. That's not going to create the accounts from being impersonated. But that's one security measure that people and groups can take in order to protect the accounts from being hacked, which is an even worse scenario than if you have an imposter account. Because once they have your legitimate account, they can do whatever they want with it. So, and regaining the control of that is not very easy. We help people get control back of those things, but it takes time and it takes a lot of money to be able to make that work, to get it back in place. So everybody should try and protect their accounts to start with. As far as your question on how can they prevent imposter accounts or how can they detect imposter accounts, depending on the size of the organization or the number of people that work for the individual who's being impersonated, they're probably going to receive reports from fans or followers that, oh, this account's out there. I got contacted by them. You might want to take a look at that. So take those follower emails or follower suggestions or however you're getting information from your fans and followers. And if they've got account information like that, let the social media company know, or find someone who understands how to deal with imposter accounts like us at Social Imposter, and have us come in and not only monitor your accounts daily, but respond to any accounts that you get. Because when we're doing our searches, we're not necessarily going to find every account that's out there because the social media companies don't make it easy to find them. But if you've got, a million followers, that means you've got at any given time probably a good quarter of a million eyeballs on your account or on accounts that are you're endorsing or being part of, and you're going to be likely to see those accounts or find them before we might if they're not found with an easy search. So I guess if you really want to be um, finding these accounts when they come up, you can do searches daily or more like we do, or you can have someone else do them for you, or you just take reports that come in from your fans and followers and act on them. So, identifying and protecting those is it's a full-time job because we do it for a lot of organizations already, and they just don't have the manpower or the know-how to figure out how to deal with them. So we work for them and are their eyes and ears on the social media platforms, finding these things and getting them down before they become an issue for that organization or individual.
Mm. Thank you so much, Mr. Kelvin. And lastly, to those who are probably been targeted by this social media imposter, it's really hard. I remember you said some don't just want to talk about it, they just want to keep quiet and just, feel like, they didn't just know what to say if they're in that type of position. I would like to ask Mr. Kelvin, what advice would you give to someone who has been targeted by a social media imposter, sir?
I would simply say that you're not alone. This happens to thousands of people every day. You should not be embarrassed by it. You should take control of the situation by reporting it to the person who's being impersonated, by reporting it to the network, by letting the authorities know, depending on what has transpired during the time that you've become prey of these people. But most importantly, don't be ashamed about it. It's not a reflection on you. You know, it's all on them. You shouldn't feel bad. They're the ones doing the thing that's morally wrong. You should be take the high road and then take back control of the situation by doing those things, contacting the person or organization that it's impersonating, and by contacting the network and by contacting the authorities if it rises to that level. And if you empower yourself, then if everyone would empower themselves, then these sort of activities would slow, I think, immensely. If you don't feel embarrassed by it or don't feel ashamed, there's really no reason to feel that way. It happens to everybody, or happens not everybody, but it happens to thousands of people regularly on a daily, weekly basis. So don't be a victim. Become an advocate. Be strong and take the control back and hold it in your hands. Don't let it happen to other people. You know, and that's going to make the whole community safer if people have that sort of reaction when they do fall victim to something like this.
Mm. Thank you so much, Mr. Kelvin. And also, we just continue to hope for better days in the coming future. The internet has brought a lot of great things, a lot of wondrous things, a lot of achievements for people. And also, some people could also use it as an advantage. What we continue to hope physically, spiritually, is that everything will continue and we balance when the time comes, and every single person are going to be protected and safe in the internet. And every single one, we have this, security that no matter who I'm talking to, I know I'm talking to the real person, but we don't know when, how it is going to happen. Lastly, Mr. Kelvin, there's a question I normally ask her. From the ancestors, from the forefathers, there are a lot of things that do exist during our ancestral time, you know, that is missing in our time today. if there is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, what do you think that thing would be, sir?
I'm going to go with the original McDonald's French fries back from the 60s and 70s when they fried them in real fat and Crisco, and they tasted a lot better than they do now. I mean, it's not necessarily as altruistic as what you were asking for, but I really miss the French fries from when I was a kid at McDonald's. So I'll kind of leave it with that. It's kind of a half-hearted answer to your question, but I think that for me, that would be just wonderful to have a large fry that was cooked in the original McDonald's uh, fat and oil that they used to cook it in.
Mr. Kelvin, I want to sincerely thank you for this very important conversation. It is not easy. A lot of people have committed suicide due to the situation. A lot of people have lost majority of their finances because of the situation. And you've come out and tried to, fix some things. And I also sincerely thank you for giving me and also the listeners the opportunity to learn from something like this. Thank you so much, Mr. Kelvin.
Yes, I appreciate the time today, and I look forward to listening to this when it's out there and produced.
All right, sir. Have a wonderful day, sir. Bye bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.